everyone. Hello, happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday. I hope you're having a good week so far and you're enjoying your week and you're enjoying the weather. Here it's kind of rainy, so maybe not so much, but hi, Super Planner Girl. How's it going? GHP. Carol, morning. I hope you're having a cup of coffee or tea or your beverage of choice. Hey, Rob, how's it going? Hey. How is everyone doing? And how was your weekend? Because I went through a major bout of FOMO because quite a few people were at the Chicago Pen Show and there was a local Vancouver Pen Friends meetup that I wasn't able to attend. And so it was just like all these meetups and hangouts and stuff that I was missing out on, which it's okay. It's okay. I survived. Coffee, rainy here too, and I'm okay-ish. Yeah, you know what? I won't complain about the rain because we obviously need rain to make our grass green and get everything to grow. And obviously I enjoy nature and like being out in nature and stuff like that. So I want it to rain so that everything is nice and green and growing. But at the same time, it's like, it just like dampens your mood a little bit. Mine, at least. Where I'm like, oh, it's raining, so. But it's okay. Hi, Nika. Oh, yay. Awesome. You're catching your first live. Super Planet Girl, I don't know why you were modded for saying hi to someone, but it's all good. I like rain in the right context. Yeah, I mean, I like watching rain, especially like hearing rain, you know, the soft patter of rain falling down on the ground. I love that. It's like such a nice vibe. But again, it's like hard to go out and do anything, which, you know, you don't have to water the flowers. Same, you don't have to water the garden, right? But everything grows anyways, so it's great. Hey, Zodiac Pen. Rain makes the corn grow. Corn makes... Therefore, I love rain because, yes, you know what? It's a cycle. It's a cycle of life. Weekend was good. Has classes and parties with the kids all weekend. That's awesome, Rob. I'm glad you enjoyed your weekend. I had a great weekend too, regardless of missing out on things. Hung out with my kids, yes, and we went to the mall and did fun things. And I did do some stationery buying over the weekend. I got the new Traveler's Notebook Love and Trip inserts. I did not get the covers, which I'm now rethinking because, man, they're really pretty. The burgundy and the red. But I held strong and I didn't get the covers, but I did get the inserts and they are really, really nice with the gold foil. And so good job, Tian. Really tempting. But yeah. Yeah, Zodiac. Zodiac's in the house. Skogsy's in the house. Hey, Zach. How's it going? How was the show? I saw that, I saw photos and videos and stuff of people who were there and it looked amazing. I'm so glad that everyone had fun though. Skogsy the bully. Well, apparently Skogsy tells dad jokes, so hey. There's just too much nice stuff. I agree, Rob. It really is, you know, you gotta kind of like focus on like what you need, what you want without hoarding, just like getting it because it's nice, right? So I'm kind of at the point where like I really love the TN cover, the red one, the one that just came out, but I really don't have any use for it yet. So if I think of a use for it, I might. I don't know. Maybe down the road. But I saw up a new Pixie listed for $45 and I'm tempted. Yes, you can use a converter if you have a short converter. So like I've been told that the Kaweco flip converter will fit. I haven't tried it, but I did put in a cartridge into my Pixie and I'm just going to refill it for now. That's my plan. And then I also heard that you can eyedropper it. So if you're comfortable eyedropping a pen, you could potentially do that with a Pixie. But yeah, there are some options with it. So I'm not going to say go buy it, but go buy it. It is cute. The one thing I will say about the Pixie, and I will film a separate video on the Pixie and the other pocket pens that I got, if you saw my unboxing last week. But the one thing I will say about the Pixie is while it's comfortable to hold while you're writing, I feel like the cap is like slightly loose. So depending on how you grip it, if you really like, you know, if you have a hard grip and you sort of like grip that pen, the cap loosens a little bit. And so I found that a few times while I was sort of doing a writing session, I had to kind of like push that cap back in. Not a big deal, not a deal breaker for me, but it's just something to consider, right? Like these little things sometimes like can annoy us or can sort of be one of those like, oh, I wish it didn't do that. But I love it though. It is the cutest fountain pen ever, the Pixie. It was good other than being next to Bart. I feel like that's like an ideal scenario, but also I feel like it's like too fun, right? It's like too much trouble in one area. Zach and Bart, come on. I feel like Amy was probably like, Zach, rein it in a bit. Enough with the jokes. No, you guys are awesome. I'm so glad you had fun. I'm glad that it was a good show overall. I did hear some like challenges and things like that, but in terms of layout and floors and levels and stuff like that. But I think it was the first time at that hotel, right? So considering that, my biggest challenge is using and enjoying what I've already got rather than focusing on the thrill of the hunt with getting new stuff. Yes, GHP, I 100% feel that, right? And I've had to really like refocus on the enjoyment of using stuff. So that's partly why I have my dominant industry ink archiving book, because I got it, you know, curious about the paper, curious about the use of it. And I did one spread with some ink and then I put it away. So I'm taking it back out because all of Octopus and Brad also painting in their streams has really inspired me to continue using it. And I think at first I was kind of afraid of like ruining the pages, right? Because it's a book. And so if you're not happy with a spread, it's kind of one of those things like, do you just move on? Do you ignore it? And so I think I'm at the point where I'm just going to have fun with it. I'm just going to play with it. And I have ink samples that I want to swatch today. So that's what we're going to do today is swatch some ink samples, paint in the ink archiving book, and then also I might do some floral painting as well. So we're just going to chill. We're just going to paint. We're just going to have fun today. Death grip is a horrible result of learning how to write with ballpoint pens. Exactly. 100%. And using pencils too, right? Like trying to get that pencil line to really show because you're using like HB or, you know, something that's like a fine point or something. So I feel like using fountain pens has alleviated a little bit of my grip. So I don't grip my fountain pens too hard because I'm constantly sort of like aware, right? And reminding myself, you know, like go easy. And so I can do longer writing sessions with a fountain pen because of that, I think, because I like constantly remind myself, you know, don't death grip. You don't want to do that to the pen. Not to feed your FOMO, but me, Skogsy, Mayfair, all in a row. Are you kidding me, Bart? Oh no, and they're all such great pens. I would have been toast. Like if I had walked down that aisle, I would have been just like, no, just take all my money. That 90 Colors pen is still available on Skogsy's website. Yeah, I know. Don't, you know, Skogsy has pens on his website, which I took a look at because I love Skogsy's pens. But also Zodiac, you're going to have a pen drop too? I will wait until everyone's next pay period. Okay, so check out Zodiac pens too if you're feeling the FOMO and you want some lovely pens. And then show me what you got. I saw that one and it's gorgeous. Yeah, I did too. Brad did a great job with that. It was such an enjoyable stream. Yeah, I agree. I had so much fun watching Brad just kind of, you know, have fun painting one of the spreads. And I think at one point, part of the ink sort of bled into another one because the other ink wasn't dry. And, you know, I feel like that kind of moment, you either realize, you know, okay, well, what am I going to do about that? I'm going to dab a little bit of the ink off because you don't want it to blend. Or what Brad did was kind of like let it blend a little bit. And I kind of like that blending. So I am a fan. I'm a fan of accidental blending and of letting inks and paints sort of play together a little bit, because the surprise of like what that color ends up being and what it looks like is, to me, is like kind of fun. It's fun. It's part of the fun of it is like exploring and letting them do their thing a little bit too. So yay, finally caught a live stream. Christy, hi! Yay, you're here. That's amazing. Welcome, welcome. I do. Oh, you have a horrible grip and use tons of pressure. Super planner girl. Yes, you still have to remind yourself. I do too. And it's been like, you know, years since I left school and had to use certain types of pens. And even in school, I use gel pens, which, you know, you don't have to push too hard to get them to work. But at the same time, I think it was just like, yeah, having to use certain types of pens and like you kind of get used to it and train yourself. And starting to use fountain pens and, you know, in ways that you have to remind yourself, like, especially when you have like a needle point or, you know, an extra fine nib and you're like, I don't want to bend my nib. So something we have to remind ourselves. Getting a reverse grind on a nib is a great way to be more mindful. Yes, because you're flipping the nib. The reverse needs an even lighter grip to help with the lighter ink flow. Yeah, exactly. And just like you're watching your line, like the line variation and when you want to use the reverse side and stuff. And so I think it sort of pulls you back into the moment and you're kind of, you know, you're mindful of how you're using your tool. So I have that book too and I've messed up so many times. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't care if it's like messed up, but I think I just want to capture the inks that I have. So, Frimp me. Oh, hey. Welcome in. How's it going? So, before we're just going to chat and we're going to chill, but, I hope this shows, if you're new here or you're catching me for the first time or you're watching the replay and you're wondering, you know, what's going on? Who am I? I'm Corolla on socials. I'm from Corolla. And I love all things stationery. I am a stationery enthusiast. I love fountain pens, fountain pen inks. I paint with fountain pen inks and watercolor paints. I love enjoying them in that way. And I share my process on Instagram and YouTube. I have tutorials and and live streams where I like to enjoy my tools. I like to paint and I like to show the process of how you can have fun and enjoy and just relax with your stationery, right? And have fun with it. And so, yeah, it's a super chill stream. You can hang out. You can put me on in the background while you're doing something else. It's very relaxing and you can definitely chat. So if you want to let me know anything that you have recently purchased or anything that you're really excited about using, let me know in the chat. And if you have any questions too, I welcome that. Jessie, hi. If the fountain pen I had in school had worked, I would have never used ballpoints during my time in school. Yes, I know. What fountain pen did you have in school? Because, yeah, I mean, that is, you know, that's one of the things too, is when you have a fountain pen that doesn't work for some reason, nib is, you know, misaligned or the ink is just not flowing smoothly, you know, whatever the case is, it's frustrating, right? Like it's super, super frustrating, especially with fountain pens where you're like, I can't just chuck this at the wall. I'm not gonna ruin my fountain pen, but also like, ugh, it's super frustrating. So rubs a bunch of luck on. Yeah. It's not, for me, this is not a giveaway. You're not going to win all the giveaways across all the streams. I'm just kidding. I actually got into fountain pens to help with arthritis. Oh, that's so interesting. So much easier to write with and deep down the rabbit hole I went. Yes. So does that actually help you, Christy? Like having, or using fountain pens more than any other pen, right? Yeah, I get that. It is like soothing in a way, right? Like, especially depending on what fountain pen you're using too. The shape, the size, the balance. Like, I always find that it's easier for me to grip a fountain pen if the balance is right. And so that's why I'm really picky with fountain pens. And if I don't find that right balance with using it, the aesthetics are almost like it's not going to make up for feeling uncomfortable using it. So I like pretty pens, but I like them when they actually feel good using them too. I'm researching bonsai care with my dad. Got one for his birthday and regifted it to me because I can keep plants alive. A bonsai. Ooh, good luck. I don't think it would be too hard. I think you could do it. Don't use it on giveaways and use it on tags as important stuff. Front me, that's actually, yes. Definitely use it on important stuff if you have good luck, right? I think I used up all of my luck getting that Stanford Dragon pen. Oh yes, GHP! Congrats on that win. That's amazing. Because I always troll at the end of Brad's emails, right? And I'm like, obviously I'm not going to win. Like, it's such a small chance of winning. So I'm glad that you saw your name there. Queen Awashi, howdy. How's it going? It has helped me a lot with hand pain. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. I know, GHP in here with their good luck too. Yes, definitely helps when I have the right pen. Yeah, exactly. Is there a pen that you prefer, like in terms of a comfortable, sorry, side conversation. You know what? I just insert myself into conversations. It's fine. The Dragon pre-protection pen he got. Yes, I saw that in the refill newsletter and I was like, it's such a pretty pen. So I'm glad you got it. And do you actually have it in hand yet or is it on the way? Because I can't wait for you to get it and then see if you enjoy. I'm sure you will enjoy. Curl, I found a fountain pen in high school not knowing anything about them. I thought it was the coolest thing, but I didn't know what kind it was. It would make me break out in sweat every time to make it start writing. Yeah. Yes, in high school. Yeah, for sure. I think the allure of fountain pens is there, right? Like, you've seen fountain pens, but unless you've used it, like when I first started using fountain pens, I was kind of like, I'm going to stay away from ink bottles and converters because I don't want an inky mess. And then, you know, little did I realize, like, that is part of the fun of using fountain pens is, you know, filling up your fountain pen and getting a mess sometimes. Like, who doesn't have, you know, inky fingers afterwards? It's like a rite of passage or something. Like, you know, it's in transit crossing paths with the LCF inks that I sent. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I can't wait for you to get it. I ordered the new Pelikan M805 metal stripe dark blue. Ooh. That's an amazing Zodiac. Do you have another 805? Is that like your type of pen? Do you enjoy it? Yeah, the dark blue. So nice. It is a good looking pen. Got into fountain pens because of shimmer inks. Yeah, Ethrac did. I know. I mean, you know, we know what we like. So when we find it, it's like one of those things like, it's for me, it's almost like the nib portion, right? So when I realized that you could get different grinds on nibs, and really play around with like the line that you get when you're writing or drawing and how much ink it puts down and then what kind of ink you can put in it. Yeah, I was like all in. 815. The black 815. I have to look this up. I have to go to the Googles now. If I can find it. Oh. Is it this one? I think my 3776 and Pilot 743 are the best. For the longest time, I didn't know there was so much time. There was so much between a Preppy and Mont Blanc. If I did, I probably would have converted sooner. Yeah, I know. I hear you. For sure. Platinum, the 3776 is amazing. Pilots in general are really nice. Like the 823 that I have, it's so nice. It writes smoothly. So you're not thinking that you have to press hard, right? Like if it writes smoothly and it's working, it's fine, then you don't feel like you need to do anything else to it, right? And I think that's part of like enjoying the writing experience is if you're getting the smooth line, you're seeing the ink, and you enjoy the pen, then it's like perfect. That's the one, Zodiac. It is so pretty. That's so nice. Yay. Amazing. I feel like that's so you too. I feel like that matches you for sure. I get it. I sent a really special Sailor Zoom off to Kirk for Katana Grind. Ooh, amazing. Let me know how you like that. Because I have a Sailor music nib that I want, probably Kirk. We'll see who I can get appointments with at the next pen show. And I have a Sailor music nib that I want ground into something else. Something more fun. Something that I can use comfortably and actually enjoy. Kirk is wearing a cowboy hat right now. Where is he? I know. I like Kirk in the cowboy vibe. It's very authentic. It's very genuine. I love it. So, I inked up a Pilot Explorer entry-level plastic pen with a the squeezy. Oh yes, the squeezy one, the Pilot Blue, and it writes so good. Just a lighter touch. Yeah, it is super, like, it's funny how something inexpensive, right? Like relatively inexpensive compared to something else that you could spend a lot of money on, especially when you're talking about pilots. It's funny how we kind of really enjoy it, right? I like the Pilot Blue ink, by the way. I put that in a vintage pen, and I'm like, I'm not going to touch it. It's just going to keep getting that Pilot Blue because it's such a good ink, reliable, nice blue. So I can see, like, you throw it into a, inexpensive pen, but that writes well. And it's, like, good to go. The other thing is, I will say about, like, inexpensive versions of pens, right? Is if they write well and you enjoy the experience, it's almost like a relief that they don't cost a lot of money, because then it's like the pressure is off to be precious with it, right? And to like be very like put it into a cozy sleeve, and you can just like, if it's inexpensive, you're more likely to just like pick it up, use it, and throw it on your desk and stuff. And I feel like sometimes with the more expensive pens, even though they're pretty, they write really nicely, there's almost that level of like, you have to be careful with it, right? Like you have to be very careful. Yes, and definitely use your stuff. Definitely use your stuff. Like, things that you buy where you're like, maybe I don't want to ruin it, but I do want to play with it. So, and I realized in Lisa's stream, Olive Octopus, if you don't follow Lisa, you should, because Lisa does amazing painting, drawing, ink swatching with inks, with fountain pen inks, and I feel like every time I watch Lisa's stream, I add to my list of inks that I need to pick up. And it's like a never-ending wish list, so... But in Lisa's stream, I realized that there's this back portion of this book, which I think I knew that, but I forgot to use it. So it's great. Like, you just like log the inks that you're using in the spreads, right? So you just kind of log them in here, and then whatever page you end up using, there's spaces in there as well to swatch them. And so you could do that as well, but it's kind of nice to see a list of like all the inks that you're going to capture in this book. So he has his nibwolf on the front of it. Kirk is in Chicago, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah, he has a nibwolf on the front. Oh, that's awesome. Lisa's a fine human being. Lisa is amazing. Every time the 2 times that I've seen Lisa and hung out at a pen show, I've always had so much fun. She's encouraging, she's artsy, and just like a really nice person, right? And we need nice people. We need nice people in our lives, and we need nice people in the community. And I feel like everyone that I've met so far in this community has been really nice and welcoming and passionate and friendly and all those things. And I think the thing about FOMO for pen shows and for meetups and stationary events is on the one hand, you're feeling FOMO because, you know, you're missing out on something and you realize that. But on the other hand, it's really nice to feel FOMO because it's an indication of, like, it's showing you that you actually want to be there. You want to be around these people. And so there's like something to be said about feeling like you want to be around a group of people. And the next time they invite you out or you have the opportunity to meet up or to hang out, you know, say yes, because obviously if you feel FOMO over something, you want to be there. And it's kind of a nice thing, right? It's kind of nice to feel like you're missing out on something because you actually want to be around these types of people. So the inks that I'm going to swatch today and paint with, they're actually from my friend Hannah. And she got a bunch of Birmingham Pen Company inks. And I actually I've tried like one Birmingham Pens ink called Pollen, and I think I got a sample of that from Pam, another friend, and that's it. Like I haven't tried any other ones. So I have 6 of them, which we're gonna swatch, and they look really nice. And then she also sent me Sidewalk Gum by Robert Oster and Atlas Stationers. It was a collab ink that they did, and I don't have a bottle of it, but I did have a sample of it. And then April MG sent me Wearingeul a Star Spattered Hill, and it's like a gold shimmer ink. And so I've never tried this Wearingeul ink, so we're gonna try that out. So a few inks we're gonna try, and I'll pick out maybe like 4 of them to paint flowers with if we can, depending on the colors. But for sure we'll swatch them here and then we'll do a spread. So Kirk is so talented. He intimidates me. Kirk is super talented and so friendly though. Kirk is great. Yeah. I had no problem going up to Kirk, and you know, I had a couple of fountain pens and I was like, actually, let me do this first. And I was like, they're 2 fine nibs. What should I do with them? Like, what should I get them ground into? And he was really nice. Like, you know, he gave me some ideas, asked me what my writing style was, what I would use it for, and then pointed out a couple of tester pens to try. And literally was like, try these out and then let me know what you think. And that's how I got like 2 grinds from him that I hadn't planned on. One was a Waverly, and that's kind of like a Fude, but like a gentle Fude. And the second was a Scythe, which is like a rounded architect grind. And yeah, I love them both. So kudos for nib specialists who know what they're doing and guide you through the process of like figuring out what you might enjoy, right? And sometimes you're left with a nib that you may not have picked out for yourself to try and actually really enjoy. So I'm just going to transfer a little bit of the ink to this ink palette, and then we'll paint with it. But I have to put them into the order of what I put in the palette. Or it'll be a mystery ink. That's okay. We'll figure it out. I love the names of the inks as well. Like this one is called Ladybug. That's so cute. And it's like a red. So the other one, Iron Ore. And then we have Ploughmans Pebble and Weeping Willow. And now we have Jasper Vein. I was able to get 2 grinds from Annabelle at the Chicago Pen Show based on your recommendations and love them both. Oh, Carol, what did you get? That's awesome. I'm glad you got the grinds by Annabelle too. Annabelle is awesome. I got to meet him once years ago. Got my first grind from him. Got an Edison in the unicorn barf colorway with the CI, which got me hooked. Yeah, cursive italic will do that. That's awesome. The unicorn barf colorway. Amazing. Yeah, Annabelle is more of a goofy fun type. Yes, she is. She's awesome. And she's very conversational too. Like while she's doing the grinds and stuff, she's, you know, you can have a good conversation, just chat about Dutch things. I don't know. Actually, we did talk about stroopwafel when I got my grind at the California Pen Show. No. Yeah, maybe. And yeah. And she always brings these little stroops, these mini stroops, which are so yummy. Silly and funny. Yeah, she is lovely. Very much so. I've been wanting Ladybug. It comes in a lot of the sample recipes. Oh, does it? Oh, awesome. Okay. I hope Annabelle is so successful in her endeavors. Yeah, she's fun and seems like such an authentic person. For sure. Me too. I hope she does really, really well and enjoys it. And and her harmonic nib is so pretty. I got to see it in person in California and or in LA at the California Pen Show. And it's so pretty. It's so nice and so detailed. She's so talented as a metal worker too. I hope. Oh, held. Oh no. Zodiac, you got auto-modded. Do not allow and ban. Oh, Annabelle blew you off. She ignored you, did she? She's like, who's this Zodiac Pens guy? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's all good. It's all good. So, you can use, in this archiving book, you can use a water brush, which I think a lot of people do. I think Lisa does, and I think Brad used a water brush as well. It's really handy because you can add water in here. And so if, you know, your bristles start to dry out, you can just kind of add, like squeeze it and water will come through the bristles, right? So it's, you don't have to keep dipping into water to sort of dilute inks or, you know, add a little bit more water to help guide where your ink is going to go on the paper. Or you can just, you know, dip it into a jar of water. And it makes it portable too, so it's easy to do it on the go, right? And I keep it in this pen loop on a bookmark that I just threw on here. And you can keep that in your book. And it's like, it's just one of those things where, you know, if you can take away some of the obstacles of just doing something, then you're more likely to do it. Or I'm more likely to do it, right? If I can just like, I want to paint in here, but I'm thinking, okay, well, I got to go get paintbrushes and water and this and that. But if everything is already there, ready to go, I feel like it's so much easier just to do it. And so if you can set that up, then I feel like it's a little bit easier that way. But I also like using paintbrushes because then you can dedicate a paintbrush to each ink that you're using. But I don't think that's like super necessary, because you can always rinse, like, put it into your jug of water or cup of water, and then wipe it off on a paper towel or something, right? And you're good to go. Automod is obviously Team Annabelle. I love that from me. I know. It's like, wait, what are you saying? CY is like the serious, whimsical, intellectual type. Yes, that's actually very accurate. CY is low key, like almost understated funny. Like CY is hilarious, but he comes across as serious, so you're kind of like, was that a joke? And it probably was, because CY likes to joke around. But the first time I met CY, and it's always at pen shows, right? But the first time I met him, I was like, I had listened to his podcast, Tokyo Inklings, and I knew, his sort of like personality, and but when I first met him, I was kind of thrown, where I was like, are we joking around? Like, is this okay? Because I like to joke around, so. But I understand, sarcasm and all those things too. So a good sense of humor is always good. I introduced myself, told her I was friends with Brooks and wanted to say hi. And she said, everyone is friends with Brooks? Wow. She's like, yeah, sure. You know this guy, do you? Yeah, so does everyone else. Nah, I'm sure she was... But it's kind of funny, though. I feel like I want to do that to someone now. You should have been like, don't you know who I am? That onion, hello. Hope you're having a lovely day. How are you doing? Brooks' niceness is legendary. I haven't been in the same room with him yet. Yeah, Brooks is Brooks is legendary for his work, and also just being really, really nice. And the table of chaos. So watching him sort of have those pens like just in a pile. If you haven't seen Jonathan Brooks from Carolina Pen Company at a pen show, that's how he exhibits his pens. It's just like a pile where you can sort of rifle through, and it's meant to, like, you can touch, you can feel. And then when you find that pen that speaks to you, it's like that moment of like, you found your treasure, right? Like, it's such a good feeling. And all those pens literally are really nice. And so it's kind of a hard thing to be like looking through this pile of pens where you're like, I just want them all. Yeah. Super Planner Girl, you're friends with Bart. See, Bart, you have some friends. Brooks taught you how to... Yes, Zodiac. I saw that interview that you did. It was really nice. It was really nice to hear about how you started, Bart. I always love... I love hearing maker stories about like how they started, what sort of gets them going to make pens, right? Because it's obviously a labor of love. Like, you love doing it, but it is hard, right? It's hard work. And I love hearing about, what keeps you going. Like, what is it that you enjoy about your pens? What thought process goes into making those pens? And so for me, part of the experience of getting a maker pen is talking to the maker. And, getting their story. So I enjoyed the conversation we had, Bart, when I first met you at the California Pen Show. And I was just like, I've known, like, I know about you. I've known, who you are, but we've never chatted before. And I just wanted to, get a feel for your story. Like, what is it that you like about your pens and stuff? It was such a great conversation, and Bart is such a great person to talk to, really, really friendly, and so it was an easy conversation. And I feel like a lot of makers are like that too. It's like they're really easy to talk to, and it's such a, enjoyable conversation where you get to actually meet the person who made the pen, and they put so much thought and effort into it. It's like, you deserve my time. You deserve to let me know what your message is, what you want to say about your pens. So This one is the Ladybug, by the way, and I already know that I'm going to enjoy painting with it. I don't think CY joked with me, but he was very noble and comforting. You get a feeling you were in good hands. Yes, for sure. Yeah. CY was probably in like, you know, nib specialist mode. Like just wants that to be the nib for you. For sure. Yeah, Zodiac, you were oh, it was a 20 question thing in Chicago. I don't know why people want to hear me talk. Have you heard your accent, Bart? That's why people want to hear you talk. Noble is such a good word. I know, I like that. I like that from me. I'm gonna Jesse, your description of CY is like, yes, you know, serious, noble. But I think CY is actually pretty funny too. Bart is coming on my blog, and Jonathan and Tracy Cullen pottery. Oh, okay. I'm really excited. Oh, that's awesome, Super Planner Girl. I can't wait. I can't wait to see that. Yeah, when are you coming to town, Bart? You need to get blanks from Brooks. Okay. Yeah, hang out. That would be so fun. Bart, I'm getting to make one this summer. And I'm making my own resin. Whoa! Oh, you've been planning it for a while. That's so exciting. That's super exciting. I'm so jealous, right? Yeah, I'm jealous too from me. You know what? Let's just go. Let's just go join this dinner thing that hasn't happened. When people from Texas make fun of your accent, it's bad. It's not. You have a great accent. Listen, all Canadians would think that you have a great accent because we don't hear that up here, right? So when I first heard you talk, I was like, whoa, where's this guy from? And then, you know, after chatting a little bit more with you, I was like, oh, yay. So fun. Plus, you're really nice. So it's like, you know, if you have an accent and you're like nice, you're charming, then it works for you. I want to get a small maker pen, but it's crazy how many great choices there are out there, making it so tough to figure out who and what to get. For sure. I hear that, GHP, for sure. Trying to figure out like what you want to get, and then like choosing from the choices, like what finish, what material. It's like it's impossible. So it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like when you get to touch and hold something and you feel that like connection, or like where you're like, you know what, I could look at myself write with this pen and really enjoy that. That's part of it for me. This is Sidewalk gum, which is like a gray, but it has a shimmer. So excited to see that. Okay, 1 second. I'll be right back. Beaveroni, how's it going? Glad to catch you for a video of my workday. Yay, I'm so glad you're here too, even for a little bit. Thanks for joining. These guys, Super Planner Girl, these guys are my only in real life pen friends, but they're good pen friends. Like, right? It's good to have good pen friends who are super, super cool. Mermaid Galaxy will be the name of the resin. Ooh, that's awesome. I like that. I like anything that's like galaxy, or like, you know, that like vibe of, you know. So I can't wait to see it. Yes, y'all come on, let's go. If you're gonna pick some pen friends, might as well pick superstars, right? Like, honestly. That's why if you see Brad at a pen show, you beeline straight to Brad because Brad knows everyone. And so if you just kind of like follow behind him, everyone who says hi to Brad, you kind of like just throw yourself into the conversation. Just, hey, I'm, whoever. And they're like, oh, cool. That's how you meet people. It's just throw yourself into conversations. Interject. Just, don't even worry about it. Aura Zodiac with Brooks Resin. Best of both. I feel like that might be a winner. Oh, Skogsy, are you still here? I was gonna start raving about Skogsy pens, like, it's like when I go to Skogsy's table at the California Pen Show. Oh, I think I did this in SF too, and I was like, Zach and Amy were there, and I was like, tell me about your pens because they're all pretty. I don't know which one I want. You tell me what you have and how hard it was to make it. So next time I might pick up a low volume eyedropper because Zach puts so much work into those things, and I think even said I don't really enjoy making them. Those are my words. But just the amount of work that goes into a pen, like, it's a lot of effort and a lot of love. And it's really nice to hear that, like, they kind of like put a lot of hours into making something that you're going to enjoy. So I only say those are two of my in real life friends. Come to my dinner. We're all just going to show up to your dinner. It's going to be a big thing. It might just be a pen show of itself. It's a real life pen show. Yeah, it is a real struggle for sure. Oh, yeah. The pens from Skogsy. Oh, they're so good. They're so nice. Skogsy is my pen hero. Sure, Zodiac. That onion, I've already found my favorite pen, just a regular Lamy Safari roller ball, but I'm yet to find my favorite notebook. Ah, that's amazing. Lamy Safaris are great. The roller ball is pretty good too. I'm personally not a huge roller ball person, but I like the Lamy Safari. Just a good, reliable pen. Your favorite notebook. Are you on a hunt for your favorite notebook? Because we have some suggestions here. Definitely a hunt for a good notebook is like a constant, always thing, right? Like size wise, paper style wise, what you're going to use it for, whether you like grid, lined, blank. So many good options. Good options. One of us. Yeah, one of us. Skogsy. I'm not shy online, but in real life I am. Yeah, I think a lot of us feel you there, Super Planner Girl. I've only been to one pen show, and I was a wallflower for most of it. I'm planning for the next time to be different. I want to hand out my stickers and meet people. Super Planner Girl, that is the exact strategy. So my first pen show too, I was kind of like overwhelmed. It was in SF. The SF pen show is fun, but it is huge. And so it was overwhelming, and I had, prepared myself with like just some tips that people told me and I had read about. And so I was kind of prepared for it in my mind. But it was still overwhelming, and I still had to sort of take my time. And I think what sort of stands out in my mind was that first day where I was walking around and I stopped at a few tables. Like I did remember going to Skogsy and I was like, hi, Zach. And we had like a 30-second conversation before I was like, I need to move on. Like, I just need to, you know what I mean? Like, get the lay of the land, walk around, and then take a break. And so definitely do that if you need to. Just take a break, take it easy. But then after that, I made stickers, gave them out, and it's like such a perfect in, right? Because most people who are at a pen show are also into stationery or something that's adjacent to pens, like notebooks and stuff. And so a lot of those people love stickers, especially when they're like, you designed them or you made them or they have some sort of, connection. And it's a great way to introduce yourself, right? And where you're like, hey, I'm this person. Do you want a sticker? And most of the time, if not all the time, people are going to say yes. And they're going to be nice to you. And, you know, they'll want to talk to you because, you know, you've sort of made that first step. And they were probably feeling the same way where they're kind of like, do I talk to people at the pen show? Like, who, I don't want to butt in and just, you know, talk to random people. But at the same time, like, that's what people are there for, right? Is to meet people who are into the same type of stuff, who are into the hobby like we are. So that is definitely the strategy. So have stickers, or you could be like Lisa from Olive Octopus and just, you know, hang out in the lounge area or something and just play with your tools, your stationery, your inks, whatever, your pens. And I guarantee people are going to come over and ask you, you know, what pen is that? What ink are you using? And that's the other way to meet people. It's like Lisa, the first time I met Lisa, we were standing in line looking at glass tip pens, or wanting to look at glass tip pens. And she was like, oh, I think you're like, are you this person? And I was like, oh, you're Lisa. And she was like, hey, you want some ink swatches? And I was like, yes, I do want them. And that's, you know, that's how you get to know people. And the rest is history. People always bash the cost of maker pens, but I've seen the process and it's crazy how much love, work, and care goes into them. That is such a good point, Super Planner Girl, because, and that's partly why I like talking to makers, because just getting the feeling of like how much work they put into it, it's like, man, I would price those pens even higher. Like just to reflect that, right? And it makes it so much more worth it in terms of like, yes, you're paying for this pen, but what you're getting is so much more than that, right? And especially if you really enjoy it, like if you love that pen, you can see yourself using it over and over, then it's definitely worth it. Yeah, Carolina Pen Company. Thanks, Super Planner Girl. LVD is on my list. Yeah, I love the way they look, and the like cap colors and stuff. Oh, so good. Yeah, the reviews. The steaks. Totally, I fangirl when you gave me a sticker at the plotter table. Beaveroni. Honestly, when I met you, I was like, I get to meet Beaveroni. So good. Yeah. If Lisa asks you if you want ink swatches, there is only one answer. You're right. From me, there is only one answer. It's yes. And also, what paper is this? Is the question that you ask. Because Lisa is amazing at like, she'll let you sample different papers. And I was like, I think I picked 2 or 3 Ink Pony printouts because they were on different paper, and I was like, I really want to use, like, I want to try these papers out. And Lisa very kindly was like, yeah, take them. Or you could do them at the pen show. I mean, if Lisa's there, or anyone else really, like, you can print them off. Is it inkpony.club? Let me see. And print them off on like a fountain pen friendly paper or something. And try it out. Use them to swatch and let me see. Inkpony.club. You got to write on, oh yes, Zodiac, I heard. Bailey told me you got to write on cotton paper in Chicago. And what did you think? Was it nice? Just a little like soft textured, right? I just got Laconic notebook calendar. I don't think I've heard of this. Mostly fountain pen friendly, and I'm excited about it. Oh, cool. Let me see. Oop. Ah. Oh, interesting. Is it from Tokyo? Oh, it is. It is from Tokyo. Yes. Let me see. Very cool. I'm glad you like the paper. Mostly fountain pen friendly. Yeah. I think I never sat down with Lisa and now walked away with a few free samples. Yeah, I agree, Viveroni. She is the bomb. Amazing. It was. You enjoyed it, Zodiac? Good. Yeah, cotton paper is like, you know, if you know paper and you're like, you want to try a little bit of a different texture or softness, it's noticeable. I find it noticeable in that way where you're like, you know what, this actually does feel softer, especially like using pencil or like, you know, graphite and stuff, pencil crayons and stuff. So Bailey now has your autograph. She's going to sell it. free autograph with a pen. Very happily surprised it's so hard to find great paper. Yeah. No feathering, but a bit of bleed with a big fatty nibs. I mean, I'm okay with a little bit of bleed. Like sometimes, you know, like, you know, when I do painting or whatever, where I only do it on one side because I know I'm putting down a lot of ink. So if it bleeds through a little bit or, you know, shows through even on the next page, I'm okay with it. It's fine. But I guess, you know, if you're using a planner or where you're like, you have to use the other side, yeah, then you have to be a little bit more aware of it. But I feel like feathering annoys me more than bleed through, because with bleed through, I can, you know, adjust my expectations and I can either not use the following page or whatever. But I feel like feathering just annoys me because it starts spreading. You're like, no, that's not the line that I wanted to see. It's fine if I see it on the other side, but don't get me wrong. I don't like either feathering or bleed through, but at least, you know, with bleed through, it's okay. So let's write down. Yeah, let's write down the names before I forget. So Weeping Willow, BPC. This one is really nice too. I'm finding these things are really nice because like they have nice shading to it. This looks really light in terms of like if you're going to use it to write. I'm not sure how much you'll see, but that's partly why I like to paint with inks, because sometimes certain inks aren't as legible, maybe, in a pen, but they look pretty, right? And like especially like pale colors or muted colors. And so when you get to enjoy it by painting with it or drawing with it, it's like another form of using that ink without having to write with it. I have some ink that is doing weird things, but it's cool to see. I will call it black shading, but that might not be correct. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Like sometimes, you know, you have weird inks and you're like, what is happening right now? But they're still interesting. And even with some of the lighter inks, you can use wider nibs and you know, still enjoy writing with them in that way. If you're not into, like if you don't think you're going to paint with it or draw with it. So this is Robert Oster and Atlas. I also love fun ink names like Sidewalk gum, because there's no way you're gonna forget it. You're kind of like, what does this look like? Oh, Sidewalk gum. A star spattered hill. Big fatty nibs should be a sticker. I agree. Because I like big fatty nibs. They're so fun. I paint and write slow, but when I'm writing a letter, the ink will flow backwards from the nib and retrace the letter in reverse. That is so funny, Zodiac pens. Retrace it and just leaves it sort of its mark. My fave underrated ink is diamond turquoise. So basic, but it's dynamite. Ah, yes. I also like turquoise inks. You can make it. Hey, Super Planner Girl, that should be the sticker that you hand out at pen shows. I like big nibs and I cannot lie. Oh, so good. Diamine, not diamond. Diamond. Hey, I think I saw that recently. I don't know if you mentioned it or someone else, but I was like, you know what? I like turquoise and teal inks. This one. Ooh, that's nice. It's like a nice blue, like a blue turquoise. Oh, summery sky blue. Yes. It's almost less teal, more blue, but it is still really, really pretty. April, hi. I'm so glad you made it for a few minutes. You're like rustling with people getting here, but yes, I'm swatching your ink that you sent right there. It's really, really pretty. I love that like yellowish gold. So nice, so bright. Dibs, I need a bunch of these to stick on pen pal letters. Yes, also dibs. Big fatty nibs and I cannot lie. It's the best turquoise in your opinion. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to actually write with it, April. Because legible yellows are hard to find. Because they will either have like a brown to them or they're just like too bright yellow, right? And then they're not legible, but I am looking up Andoryllium Alba turquoise. Oh, can't be found. Yeah, now I'm trying to find it too. Is it this? Alba turquoise ink made by Andoryllium. That does look like a nice turquoise though. Yeah, I can see from there. From the label. Big fatty nibs will be an awesome sticker. You see, everyone's on board. There's your sign. Make it. This is a product we need. Why did you do this? Yeah, why are you telling us about limited edition? Because now we're gonna have to hunt it down. Sailor Studio 770. Oh. Oh, it's showing. Pretty. You know what? I like the peach that's coming through here too. That's very bright. Oh, okay. Bart, you have a bottle. Are you going to send us all samples? Oh, so funny. Okay, so I think these are dry now. Oh, that one's still a little. Let's just dab a little bit. It'll be okay. So, which inks do we like? Weeping Willow is a nice green. Like, it's a greenish... Oh, it's actually showing a lot more green on screen than in person. It's more like a green, like an off green sort of. It has yellow, has a little bit of brown. Ploughman's Pebble is a lot more muted. Iron Ore is kind of nice. It has like a mauve or purpley ink in there, or shade in there. Ladybug is really pretty. I like that. Jasper Vein, pretty. Brown. And if you like more of a warm tone, that amber hue, ambered Adobe is very nice. And then you have Robert Oster Sidewalk Gum, which actually has a little bit of shimmer in it, I think. And then Spattered Hill as well. Has like a gold. It's like a yellow with like a gold shimmer, which is really, really nice. Yeah, it is nice, right? It's a good palette for sure. Weeping Willow and Ambered Adobe here are both bangers. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I agree. I feel like all of these are actually really, really nice. Mike gave 770 as a legible yellow on the podcast. I got a bottle and it is really quite good. Oh, that's good to know, GHB. Because I have tried yellows before where I'm kind of like, oh, it's a little too bright maybe. Like, it is yellow, but legible yellows is something else. Sometimes hard to find. Iron Ore can run really dark when you write with it. Ah, okay. Oh, yes, I can actually see that, right? Because you're getting more of like this shade versus this, where it's a little bit more diluted. Jasper Vein is outstanding to me. Yeah, I like that as well. Supercell is my favorite Birmingham ink. A stormy teal blue. Let's see. Is it discontinued? No. Oh, it's sold out. But let's look at it anyways. Ah, yes. A dark. That's like, it is stormy. Yeah, I can totally see that. Like, it reminds me of Diamine Twilight. It's like a really, really dark, sort of stormy shade, which is really pretty. But as you write with it, right, and I feel like some of these darker inks probably, like they start off kind of like a darker shade, and then as you write with it, you'll sort of see a little bit more of the lighter shades because they're less saturated as you sort of keep writing. So definitely do long form with these inks. Chinchilla is a great mid-dusty purple. As another sample to your list. Yep. Eucalyptus stem. Are these Birmingham inks? GHP? Chinchilla. Ah, yes. Found it. Chinchilla, yes. I do like these. Like, I'm naturally drawn to blue shades and blue, teal, green, and anything that's like dark, stormy, moody. It's like great. I love it. Not that I need many of them, but oh, eucalyptus stem. I wanted to look that up too. Birmingham pens. Ooh, that green. That looks great. That's a nice green. I'm gonna come to P&W looking like Olive Octopus. I can't wait to see that. Yeah, you're just like your trench coat of ink samples. Hey, do you want an ink sample? Yes, I can't wait. Yeah, literally writing down every ink you're recommending here. I know, this is so bad for our wish list. Front Me doesn't like any of the your ink suggestions. Front Me's like, no, not writing this down. They're both still available. Thanks, GHB. So bad. Chinchilla is a little bit more purple than the BBC swatch shows. Oh, good to know. I'm late to class. Gamma, where were you? We've gone through a bunch of things. All ink suggestions and Zodiac and Skogsy were fighting. No, I'm just kidding. Talking about the Chicago Pen Show, though. Speaking of someone else who was there, Mario Stationery, the Chicago Pen Show crew. We were commiserating about how much fun you guys had and where were you in the layout of tables? Were you close to the Skogsy Zodiac Mayfair situation? or were you keeping your distance? Because yeah, Amarillo beanies. Ah, cute. Anything with the Amarillo mascot is super cute, right? Yeah, Front Me is going to Zodiac for pens. It's a good deal. You were opposite of Atlas and Kirk. Oh, so you saw Hollywood and Cowboy Kirk. That's awesome, though. Yay, I'm glad you had a good time, and I did see photos and your little photo reel and Karina and everyone else, and I was like, you know what, I'll just like insert my face in there somewhere in the background. I was there. But yeah, did look like a great time. So we're just going to, I like all of these. I feel like we should paint with all of them. And we'll just throw them in here and see what they look like. Well, Eric, I feel like you were on I feel like you were in the mature side of the show. I'm just kidding. No one there is mature. We're all just silly, having fun, playing around. Pen shows are fun. Pen shows are for tapping into your playful side and your hobby. And all right, let's see. I'm going to start with some of the lighter shades, and then I'm going to layer on a little bit of the darker shades. So usually when I'm painting, I start with lighter shades because it's easier to put down more light and then add dark than it is if you put too much dark and you're trying to lighten something. So that's how I tend to, especially if I have a palette to work with, then it's just easier to, you know, work with a lighter shade and then go from there. So this one is Ploughmans Pebble, Birmingham Penco. And I like it. It's like a really soft, sort of a brown, kind of like a peach brown, pebbly, I guess. So I'll just add that as a background to things. Maybe here too. I'm going to lurk while I do some work, of course, Gamma Gamma. Enjoy the lurk. Has anyone here used Alexandrite by Diamine? I have not. Diamine. Oops. Super Planner Girl, have a good one. Have to make lunch and then time to pick up my middle schooler. Yeah. Working on the sticker though. Yes. You know what? Now that you've mentioned it on my stream, I think everyone here knows you said it. It's going to happen. We expect it. Definitely can't wait. It's another exclusive ink. Bart, get out of here. I'm trying to find it. I'm Googling it. I'm in the Googles. And is it called Pure Pens Alexandrite? Oh, I may have found it. Ah, what are you doing to us? Here we go. Here we go. Diamine Alexandrite. Ooh, look at the blue with the red pinkish sheen. So nice. I have not tried it, but you know what? It looks really nice. Looks very, very pretty. Have fun, Super Planner Girl. We'll see you soon. And make extras of the sticker. Hi, community time. It's a pretty vintagey dominant industry book. Yeah, it's the ink archiving book. The Log of Elixir, I think, is this the second book. It's the second book in their archiving book series. And it's really nice. I like it because it has a lot of cats in it and like literature books. It is very vintagey, sort of like antique style. It has that kind of vibe, which is really, really nice. and easy to paint, especially if you have like these sort of like grays, browns. All right, let's do Weeping Willow, because that's a really nice sort of green. Maybe let's add it to the strap. So it actually, Weeping Willow is actually really interesting because like you'd sort of get this dark green with a little bit of like beige, light brown. And then you get like a little bit of the bright green in here as well, if you can see that. And so this is what made my water this like limeish neon color, because I think it's this green undertone that's in this ink. So it's like really interesting. Oops. It's not green. I'm banging out an email to them right now with those writing samples. Pretty, yeah. I see a lot of tea things in there too. Yes, actually, it does have a lot of tea things. So everything is like very, there's like maps and yeah, like clocks and compasses and all sorts of things. Science-y, like test tubes. It's very cool. And then it has like butterflies and whimsical, whimsical spreads and stuff. So I feel like it's right up my alley. So depending on, and I think the first book was more like underwater sort of themed, sea creatures and stuff like that. So I like that there's a different, like they've kind of gone a different way with this book. So you can get both books and get like different, vibes, use different inks and stuff like that. Let's use this Ladybug, because it's really pretty. So we're going to do this whole thing. And there's a cat in the suitcase too. It's so cute. Cats will squeeze themselves into anything. It's funny and annoying. But I do have some boxes that my cat exclusively uses to sleep in, even though, we have more comfortable blankets and stuff. Doesn't matter. That's how cats are. This is a really nice red. Pink. Red pink. That's a red. But definitely like a really pretty shade. BPC has some gorgeous inks, even with that whole shower scum one. You had to bring it up, community time. We've been streaming for an hour and a half almost. We have not talked about the shower scum ink. Even though I was thinking about it, because I dipped my paintbrush in here and then I was like, oh, that color. It's kind of this green, like, something's alive in there kind of situation. And then I thought of the showers come and I was like, I'm not going to say it. Birmingham Penco and showers come. Even though, what color was that again? Was it like a yellowish green or something? Shower. Oh. No. Yeah. I mean, although that green is pretty in there, isn't it? The sheen. Very nice. I will not be getting it because I can't use an ink that's called Shower Scum. But if I get a sample of it, I will definitely use it. Okay, so we have Ploughman's Pebble, Weeping Willow, Ladybug. Let's use a little bit of the yellow in there too. So we can add that. I feel like because this ink has shimmer in it too, it'll be really nice because when everything dries, you'll see a little bit of shimmer coming through. And it's partly why I love painting with shimmer inks, is because they just elevate, for me anyways, they elevate the painting just a little bit because, you know, as you kind of, the light catches the page, you start to see a little bit of that shimmer and it's just really pretty. It adds an element of, you know, fun shininess. So just kind of randomly add that gold, which is actually kind of perfect for this book because it has that vintagey antique vibe, which means it has to have gold throughout it. Oh, you're off to a meeting, Beebroni. Yay! I'm glad you were here, though. It was so good to have you. And I can't wait until the next Fin show. See you in SF. Have a great day. I just made a list, 10 inks for you. 10 inks? Whoa. That's amazing, Bart. I appreciate that. We're gonna have to have like a whole painting session for 10 inks, at least. Brooks has a blank called Clown Vomit. No. I wonder if it would look nice with Shower Scum. Oh, just, yeah. I feel like if you have that as you're currently inked, right? Where you're like, this is my pen, it's called Clown Vomit, and this is the ink, it's called Shower Scum. People are just gonna be like, what are you doing? What is this hobby? Also, I just looked at the other book, The Log of Atlantis. Yeah, that's the one. And that one is just as gorgeous. I might pick that up, especially with my love of blue-green shimmer. Yes, for sure. And talk to Lisa about it because Olive Octopus on her stream did quite a few like streams about it and stuff. And I don't know if she maybe put pictures on Instagram too, but yeah, for sure. They were like octopus and all that stuff, like underwater mythical type stuff, creatures, which is really, really fun. And you can definitely use your blues and greens for sure. It will be a mono palette. They're all blue, teals, and turquoise. Hey, those are right up my alley. All we need to do is add like one bright color. Yeah, ask her for sure. Jasper Vein, Ambered Adobe, and then we have a gray as well, which we can definitely add in. So, oh, an iron ore. Okay, so these three. This one. Iron ore. Which does look like it would be kind of dark when you first put it down, especially if you're writing with it. But as you can kind of see, the more you use it and the more sort of like desaturates a little bit, it does come out a little bit lighter, especially if you add water to it. But if you're writing with it in your fountain pen, I think you'll just have to kind of write long sessions with it to get some of the lighter shade coming through. Let's do this. And then the great thing about painting with these inks is that you can dilute it just with water and then get the lighter, to get it to be a lighter shade. So even if you're using a dark ink, just desaturating it a little bit is, you know, it'll come out a little bit lighter. Ah! Oh no! That's okay. I was like, why does my finger feel wet? Of course it's ink. But it's all good because we're going to use some of this gray Sidewalk gum to add a little bit of background color because it is gray. So I think we're just going to add a little bit of and blend it with the ink that's smeared a little bit here. Better than a hand, better on the hand than on white tablecloth. Yeah, for sure. And even better on a desk mat than on the desk. But I guess that's one of the things about painting is you are gonna get paint and inks and everything everywhere, especially if you're painting as it's drying. So So you can definitely take your time with this. Wait until the ink's dry so that you're not blending inks together or smearing them or, you know, sort of accidentally spreading them in the way that you may not want to. But I feel like it's kind of the fun of it too, just to play around. And it not being perfect, it's fine. Especially because we don't always have so much time to play with inks or, you know, just kind of play around with things. So this is Adobe, Ambered Adobe. That's a really nice warm, sort of like a caramel brown. Ooh. Let's do this cat. A little bit of this. Then we'll layer a darker color in as well. This bottle. And then I think the last ink is Jasper Vein. So that's the darker brown. Kind of like a chestnut color. So it's kind of perfect for this. So while this color is still a little bit wet, I think we'll add a little bit of dark to it. to sign off, but it was great to hang out with you. Bart, don't talk bad about Skogsy while he's gone. Bye, Zach. Have a great day. And we'll see you again. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Don't worry, I will keep Bart in line. Just kidding. Bart will do Bart things. These colors are also delightfully warm and cozy. They are, aren't they? I agree. I agree. I feel like they work so well together too. Like they're just really nice complementary to each other. Then it's just a matter of filling in what's, you know, what's still sort of left. And using up some of these colors. And then do a little bit more background color. Let's see. They're really great background colors too. Like to do a wash or something. So I think as it dries, it will sort of have this like antique, vintagey feel to it. And show off the different inks that we used. And also as it dries, we'll see some of the shimmer from like the gold yellow here. And throughout here too. I think Sidewalk gum has a little bit of shimmer as well. So yeah, we'll start to see it in some of these elements, which is really, really nice. So I think the shades worked really well together. What a great selection. All it needs is some shower scum to finish this off. AFK a bit. Okay. If stream ends whilst I'm chowing, I hope everyone has a lovely day. Have a good one from me. Came out really well. Hope it was as relaxing for you as it was for us. Yeah, you know what? I kind of got lost a little bit as I was, just moving ink around. So the fun part of doing this kind of exercise where you're like coloring or you're filling in a spread is you're painting, but you're also just moving colors around. So like, with one ink color, you can actually fill up quite a bit of this page, right? Especially with the background and stuff. And so just doing that motion of moving water and seeing it flow on the paper is relaxing in itself. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. And part of me was like, don't color over everything, because you obviously have to be careful with inks that are still drying, because you could potentially blend just everything. All the colors could become one, swampy color. But in other parts where you're kind of, blending on purpose, it's kind of fun to see how they turn out, and whether or not those inks go really well together. So that could become its own palette, right? And what inks kind of stand out. I think the one ink that really surprised me in a good way is Weeping Willow, which is this sort of off green color. It brings a little bit of yellow. So here is like a diluted version of it. So it's like a really nice mellow yellow. And then in other parts, it's a little bit darker, right? And so even here, it's like this darker sort of off green. And so that one surprised me because it actually looks really pretty, and like in different parts of it, depending on how diluted or saturated it is, it looks different, Hi, Spicy Miso. Welcome. Yes, you see some nice colors. These are all, well, not all actually. These are mostly Birmingham Pen Co. samples that I got. And there's one Robert Oster and Atlas ink called Sidewalk Gum. And then there's also Wearingeul, a Star Spattered Hill, which is this nice. These are two shimmery inks. And then the rest are kind of these, vintagey, antique type of colors, which is perfect for this spread. So you can see that gold yellow coming through as it's drying. But that is one of the challenges with doing this kind of exercise or painting in this type of book, is that, you either have to wait for the ink to dry and then layer on top, or you just go with it and then you start blending and moving colors around and having all sorts of fun. So, but it's also kind of nice to have some of the shades work well as like a background shade. So that's kind of that Ploughmans Pebble color, which does look pretty muted. It doesn't look very dark, so it works really, really well as kind of a background color and then also to layer on top of. So I think that would be a great ink to blend with as well. And I like this color, which is ambered Adobe. So it's like an amber, like a reddish brown, which is also kind of really nice because it brings warmth to the colors. into the spread. And then this one, which is Ladybug. It's like a really pretty sort of cozy reddish pink color. It's not too bright, so I think it blends really well with the other colors as well. But it is very nice. I've been into brown a lot. Yeah, red brown, pink brown, yellowish brown. Right, brown is a great sort of foundation color too. Anything that sort of like has like a brown tint to it. Greenish brown, right? That's kind of like what this is a little bit. But yeah, it's very, very nice. So I think I'm just gonna swatch the inks in here as well. 3, 8, which is exactly the number that we have. So I'm gonna add them in here. That's going to be dark. It's okay. So that worked out really well. Just enough boxes for the swatches. My favorite ink doesn't exist anymore, and I learned it comes from a guy that's quite the mean guy on. Oh, that does suck. That's so disappointing. Oh, that's too bad. I think it was a limited edition from... Oh, yes, I hear you, Spicy. Yeah, I don't do that either. From 2005 or 2006, yeah, that's tough. Well, even with like the Pilot inks that they discontinued, I feel like there were quite a few people that were disappointed, or just, you know, like if you're using these inks and, or if you like them, and then you can no longer find them, or it's hard to find an ink that's similar to that, it is disappointing, because especially if it's your perfect or your favorite ink, right? And hopefully you're able to find something that's similar that you can warm up to, or maybe someone down the road will make it something that's similar. It dries freaking fast, few seconds, got a nice brown shade and water resistant. So tough. It's so tough to find inks that check off all the boxes for you. And then it's like, you know, especially if it's from a while ago, like, do you hoard that ink because, you know, you don't really want to? Or do you hope that there's going to be something that's going to be similar to that, right? I'm sure I will find something. It is a lot of searching. Have you asked all of Octopus? Or someone who does, you know, who may have swatched similar inks, and then you're able to find something that's at least like checks off some of those boxes. Because then you can find something that you can use in the meantime while you're continuing your search. Anyways, this was so fun, friends. I had such a great time, if you didn't notice. I'm so glad I went back into this book. So like I said in the beginning, or like when I started streaming today, I had this book and I did one spread, using the Dominant Industry inks that I got with this book. And then I kind of put it away because I was like, you know, I don't know. I don't think I'll pull it out to like just do all of my ink swatching, because that's what it's kind of meant to be, right? Like logging your inks, archiving them. And I just didn't feel like I wanted to pull it out every time and paint in it. And also there's a layer of, you know, what if I mess it up and what would I do? But I think taking your time with something like this and enjoying the time that you do spend with it, I think will sort of build up to a point where you're like, you know, you sort of break in the book a little bit and you feel comfortable pulling it out and just painting in it. Even if you don't paint the whole spread, like it's easy to, if you had like 1 or 2 or 3 inks, just to do some parts of this and then let it dry and then come back to it another time with a few more inks, right? That's possible too. So there's a few different ways of using this type of book, and I'm hoping that because Lisa and Brad are doing more painting in here, that I'll kind of be inspired to keep pulling it out and using it. This is always such a relaxing time for me. I'm so glad, Bart. I'm glad that you're able to join and hang out, and I'm glad that I'm not alone here. At least some people are here chatting and keeping me company. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much. I appreciate everyone who joins and everyone who watches me paint. And hopefully it inspires you to do something similar, whether or not you have like one of these books from Dominant Industry, or you have the Ink Pony image, which you can print out on fountain pen friendly paper and start painting, right? Ask Bart. He's done it. Lisa loves this book. Yeah, exactly. And that's partly why I watch Lisa's streams and I'm always like, yeah, I need to take out my book. So, you know, that's why I had these ink samples that I needed to swatch and see the colors and, you know, play with them a little bit. And so I figured, why not do it in this book, right? It's perfect. It's perfect for that. Also coming to watch. Thanks so much, Christy. I'm so glad that you were able to join today. So much fun. What kind of custom grind do you like? Always a lovely time here. Custom grinds that I tend to go for are the Naginata style or variation. So CY's Techo nib from Esterbrook, or his, if you're going to get it from him at a pen show, it's called a Sunkuksen, I think. And then like Katana Perspective from Gina, Katana from Kirk. There's different variations of it, and I think that's kind of my go-to. I have other custom grinds that I love too, but for me, anything that gives me a line variation depending on the angle that I'm writing with helps to keep me engaged in writing and drawing. And I think for me that's important, because then it makes me reach for the fountain pen over, you know, a fine liner or something else where I'm kind of like, this is easy to use. But when I kind of think about like that nib, ink, and pen experience, I'm just kind of drawn towards those types of nibs. I started doing some drawing with FP, but it's nothing as amazing as you guys. Well, you know what? It starts somewhere, right? Like, and I'm still like, when I'm painting, I'm still kind of like questioning and sort of thinking about things sometimes. Ink Pony Club member, yes. Yes, I feel like we need a sticker or actually Lisa does have stickers, but we need like a membership or something too. Or a badge, a little pin. What do you think of Architect? I think you said, yes, I do like the Architect. I have a reverse Architect grind on my Leonardo, which Gina did. And so on the right side, it's like an extra fine to fine line. And then on the reverse, it's a broad stock nib that was ground into an Architect. And so it's a juicy Architect. And so on the reverse, I can write with Architect. And yeah, I love it. I think it's great, especially when I'm writing in block letters. So it's great for like headers, or when you're, you know, yelling in your journal, or you just want to like make a statement. It's great for that. Or if you're just, you know, if you want to vary your writing style. It gives that a little bit of interest. And so, yeah, I do like the Architect. Cursive Italic is really nice. Like, a lot of people go to a Cursive Italic as their number one kind of custom grind. And I totally see that because it is really fun. And especially if you are sort of into hand lettering or cursive writing or something, you know, it gives that extra little bit of interest. So, yeah, I think all kinds of like grinds that have varying lines is nice. Architect is good for scripting. You can do scripting with it, especially if you get it custom ground and get a little bit of rounded, like get it smoothed out a little bit. The mullet nib though, I know, it is always party in the back. And it looks very, you know, classy and businesslike. But little do you know, it's an Architect. This is how I write, and I want to add some character to my handwriting. Yes, I have seen your writing, Spicy. It is very nice. You have like very, you have very legible, clean like printing. It's so easy to read, right? Because it looks so consistent. I think, so why are you considering the Architect? Like, do you want to, because I can see at the top here, you have block printing, like in all caps. I feel like the Architect adds like a little bit of interest to that kind of style. And you can do scripting as well. But like I said, I would personally, if I was getting it custom ground, just let the nib specialist know that so they can add a little bit of like a smoothness to it. So when you're sort of transitioning through your cursive line or scripting line, it doesn't make it as awkward or it doesn't catch. It looks like a, oh, it's an M. Okay, I was gonna say it looks like a B. It looks like a broad line. Your ink. It's a very wet ink. Yeah, like my broad Architect. Let me see. So this is the right side. And then the reverse is the Architect. So but also so it's not awkward to script with it or, you know, even to sort of like do loopy loops. Oh, you couldn't see any of that. Oh my goodness. I'm like, can you see? Do you know what I'm talking about? So, oh my. So it feels comfortable when you're kind of doing these like, so yeah, get an Architect. If you do want to sort of add a little bit of interest to like your block lettering, but also know that, you know, you can get a little bit of a rounded Architect and that will make it easier to sort of transition into scripted writing. That looks more like a medium. What is the grind for an M stub? Yeah, a journaler nib. Or I guess the journaler nib from Gina is the closest to, like, if you want like a M stub that has a little bit of an italic to it. And then the B Sig from Franklin Christoph, which is ground by Audrey, is also like, it sort of has an italic rounded stub to it as well. So both of those are kind of, but it's a broad sig, but it actually writes, like to me, it writes a little bit more like a medium to broad. And then Esterbrook has a mini stub. It's actually called the mini stub. So that's I think it is the stock M that would be ground into a stub from Esterbrook. Yes, stubs look great with block print. Especially like when someone says that they're not a super fan of their handwriting or hand printing. I always kind of say, like, if you're going to try stock nib, try stub. Because versus like going from like extra fine or fine to a broad, because you kind of want to like cover up your writing a little bit, I feel like the stub would be a perfect balance between like your writing style and then also getting a little bit of that block print in there. Yeah, thinner cross stroke, wide downstroke. So this is the medium. Ooh, I like the sheen there. Diamine Holly. Too big is too much. I like my handwriting having a medium size. Yeah. You can get an F stub. So that's like just a little bit of a, you know, a stubby look to it. But definitely a journaler from Esterbrook. And then a B sig. I don't know if you can get an M sig. Maybe, I think you can actually, from Franklin Christoph. You can get a medium sub-italic. And a mini stub from Esterbrook. And then the Techo nib, which is CY's grind for Esterbrook, is also ground from a medium. So you can get these types of custom grinds from like on a medium nib and then have like a little bit of variation. So if you wanted to like amp up your writing a little bit and see a little bit of interest there, then I don't think it would be hard to do. But yeah, that's definitely an option. And again, like you can sort of vary it depending on what stock nib you use to have it ground to. You can get a SIG EF to BB from FC. Oh, awesome, Inky, thanks. I have a broad and a double broad, but that's awesome that you can actually like all the way to, you know, whatever fineness you like, and just add a little bit of variation to it. Holly is a heavy sheener. I can see in the photo. It's actually quite sheeny. Okay, EF is only available for number 6. Yeah, and I think like even if you get it custom ground by a nib specialist, you can go with finer nibs, but again, those kind of tell you that the variation that you'll see is dependent on what size you're using. So in terms of feel, what FC is comparable to a Leonardo MZ? In terms of feel and size? That's a good question, Spicy. I don't know. I have... Let me think. What do I have? So these are the only FCs I have. This one's a pocket 20. This one's a 46, but they may have discontinued it or they may have changed the shape of it. And then this is an 03. I'm not sure if they still have this, or because I think they went through a phase of discontinuing certain sizes and shapes and then reshaping them. But I feel like comfortability wise, the 46 is similar to me. I did find it really comfortable writing with this. So but I think if you go on their site too, you can look. Ah, yes, Zodiac. Sagittarius is very comparable to the Memento Zero. Yeah. The Grande. Yeah, Zodiac. About to plug his pens on your channel. I mean, you're here. You can buy their nibs. You don't have to buy their pens. Yeah. Some nibs you do. I think you have to get with their pens, but a lot of their nibs you can get on their site. I'm in Europe. If I buy a nib, I might as well get a pen too. Yeah, I hear you on that. If you're gonna buy the nibs, unless you're able to go to a pen show and then get a nib separately. But the MZ spoiled you. Grande is too big. Yeah, I don't have a Grande, but the MZ for sure is such a nice pen, right? But yeah, definitely talk to Zodiac. Talk to people who can walk you through different pen shapes and styles, because yeah, and even like on the websites like Franklin Christoph, it's kind of hard to judge the shape a little bit, especially if you can't like touch and feel something. So if you can get someone's input in terms of, you know, they've tried it and that's the shape it is, then it's kind of helpful, right? Yeah, or you can find Brad and get all his pens, try all his pens. Find someone who has a lot of pens and try them all. For sure. Okay, friends, I have to log off and do some lunch and stuff like that. But thank you so much for keeping me company and for talking pens and inks. Now that I have all these inks that I want, and hopefully we'll get some from Zodiac, some samples to try out and samples to paint with. That's always super, super fun, right? I love sampling inks and just sort of exploring their different properties and finding the ones that I really love and that speak to me, and that you can then ink up in a pen, right? Bye, Carol. Bye, Spicy. Friend me. Thanks for being here. And Indy. And of course, Bart. And everyone who's here and hung out and lurked and was part of the stream. Thank you so much. Yeah, take a look at Zodiac pens, take a look at Maker pens, and talk to them. Community time, thanks for being here. Christy, thanks for being here. And Biberoni, Skogsy, Gamma Gamma. Everyone who's here, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, friends. I feel like after a weekend of FOMO, and sometimes when you don't go to a pen show and you kind of feel like, you miss out on hanging out with friends, I feel like streams are a great way of plugging back in and reconnecting and just like, you know, chill, hanging out, relaxing. And I'm so glad that you're all here and that you're willing to hang out and, you know, talk about hobbies and just nerd out about this stuff. You heading to the shop to experiment with nib grinds? I like that. Keep us posted, Zodiac, and we're cheering you on because we all love nib grinds, love pens, love inks. I'll see you next time, friends. I'll post on Instagram stories when I can be live next. Speaking of live, I am going to be live with Marina on YouTube tomorrow, I believe. So keep an eye on my IG stories. I'll share more about that. And yeah, I'll see you on my next stream. I'll see you on other people's streams. I'll see you in chat. Thanks so much, friends. Bye. Have a good day.